So, good afternoon, one and all. Today we are gathered here to discuss the Python functions. So, so, so Python functions generally they are used for reusing the code. So, whatever code we write in a function or in a program, that cannot be reused. Generally, if you want to reuse that code, you have to again copy paste or again fetch that code into your code and all. Suppose if you define that particular code as a function is nothing but a block of code. So if you define that function as a block of code, that is function, uh, then you can use that code by calling that function. Just it is just like a packaging thing. If you package a thing in a packet, instead of directly handling the things, you can handle the packet. So here packet is nothing but a function. So instead of worrying about the code logic and all, you need to worry about the function call. So you need to call the function that's more than enough. So here you can see the example. Hello is a function here, and you are defining the function like you are printing hello and fun. So you are again defining another function called thing, where you are calling the function itself. So this is how actually it happens. So we call these as reusable codes or reusable pieces of code, reusable block of code. We call it as a function. So there are basically two types of function. One is called as built-in function. Another one is user-defined function. What are built-in functions? They are provided with the programming language. So every language has built-in functions and user-defined functions. So the functions that are provided with the programming language, we call it as built-in function. So here Python also has provided some built-in functions like raw input, type, float, int, and all these are built-in functions. So we cannot change the structure of built-in function. We cannot modify the built-in functions. So what we can modify is the functions that we define, that are defined by ourselves. Those functions we can modify. We call them as user-defined function because it is defined by the user. Okay. So the built-in functions names should not match with the reserved words. So what are reserved words? We call them as keywords actually. So what are keywords is keywords are the words which are reserved by the programming language for some special purposes. Like suppose if you take int, if you take float, all these are words which are having specific meaning in the programming language. You cannot reuse them for some other purposes. So we should avoid them as a variable names. Uh, Variable names in the sense the function names. So how to define the function? Before defining the function, uh, I should tell you how to name the function. So for naming the function, there are four rules. I think we discussed already. The rules are like a function name should not be a keyword. Function name should not have spaces. Function name cannot contain special characters and should start with an alphabet. So these are the four rules for naming a function. Of course, they are not given here, but I think you all know it. The same rules that are applied for variables are also applicable for functions. So in Python, uh, the reusable code, that is the function, also takes something called as arguments. What are arguments? Is arguments are just like an input to the function, which might result into an output. Okay. So when you give an input to a block of code, it gives an output. So the input given to this block of code, we call them as arguments. Okay. So how to define a function using the keyword called def. Def is the reserved word. We use it to define a function. So once you are done with the defining a function, we will also call that function by passing some arguments. Arguments are nothing but the input, as I said earlier. So if the function expects some input, then only we can pass the arguments. If it does not expect an input, we need not pass an argument. I will give an example. So here you see max is a function. Okay. So how to define the function called? Okay, let us see through a real example. So I will give a small example here. So I am creating a file. So here I shall define a function, define hello. Okay. So here I will say name. I will say name. Okay, here I will print the name. Okay. So that is as simple as it is. So I will save this program as function 1. I have given my own. So here what I should do is I should call the function. What was the function name? Function name given was hello. Function name given was hello. I will say hello Kiran. So what is this doing? I have passed this parameter called Kiran to this function. Where is the function? Where is the function code? Function code is okay. So function code is this one. So I have defined the function as define hello so and so. Here it is a variable. I did not define the variable whether it is integer or something. So by default it is taken as a string. So I defined a variable, and what is the code of that function? Code of that function is to print that variable. So what happened when I called the function, because it is having a variable, having an argument, sorry, because the function also has an argument. When calling the function, I cannot simply call the function like this. It says error. So hello is missing one required positional argument. We call them as positional arguments. So positional argument, the position of this argument is 0. So it requires an argument. You should pass the argument, whatever argument it is, whether it is number or whether it is a string, doesn't bother. But you need to pass the argument. If you pass the argument, that will perform the code. When you pass the argument, of course, you know what happens with the code. This is, for example, only I have given. But like suppose you need to add two numbers. So for that you need to suppose I will do that one, adding two numbers, a comma b letters. So I will write print a plus b. Okay. So now what I should do? I shall execute that one. So I will execute that one. Sorry, I'll do it again. So here I am executing this program. So it is expecting two parameters. So hello 10 comma 1. So you see here, these are called positional arguments. So A is taking value 10 and B is taking value 20. Okay. So we will automatically add the values 10 and 20 will get added and the result will be displayed. This is small example for how to define a function. So while defining a function, you need to remember three things. First one is how to define a function. That is using the keyword called def. Once you have started defining the function, you need to worry about the positional argument. How many positional arguments the program needs. So those many variables you will take and you pass it as a arguments. After doing that, you need to type the code that you want to execute, whether it is printing the values or whether it is processing the values and all. Whatever you want to do, you will do. After doing that, you will compile the program. Interpret the program and just call the function. While executing, you cannot simply press F5 and you will not get any output because this is a function. So because it's a function, we need to call the function. So here I call the function. While calling the function, I need to understand how the function is. How many arguments are there in the function. So depending on the number of arguments, I should give those many values. It doesn't matter. Of course, depending on the type of argument only, we should give the input. Suppose what happens if I give different types of arguments. Of course, I did not specify the types of arguments here. Then what happens is these gets concatenated actually. So you have added, you did not specify how to add and all. So it is saying the addition operator cannot apply on integer and string. So either you convert the string integer to string or string to integer. So here I can write the same program like this. Hello. So if I write str of 10, let us say, comma, hello. Okay. Some random example I have taken. So that gets concatenated. So for I did not change the code actually. I have changed the way the input is given. Input is given so that all the parameters are of same type. So addition operator, it expects a similar homogeneous operands. So operand should be of same type, whether it is string or integer. If you convert it to integer, it will take the integer form, and if you convert to string, it will take the string. So because both are string, they got concatenated. This is a small example of defining a function. Now let us uh, go back to our presentation. So here you see uh, the functions are called. When the function is called, the corresponding result get assigned to the given variable. So here big is a variable and we called a function and the result of function is assigned to the variable. So when you are printing the variable, the result gets printed. It doesn't bother whether you have written any code or not, but whatever the result is there, that results get printed. So this is one more example. Define max for x and y. So next, conversions. So functions are also used for conversions. Uh, Type conversion. We call them as type conversions. So there are two types of conversions: implicit type conversions and explicit type conversions. Implicit type conversions are those which are directly converted by themselves. Suppose if I take a float variable, and we are assigning an integer value to it, then the conversion will be automatic because int is smaller than float. But if you are assigning a larger value in a smaller variable, that is suppose you have taken an integer value and you are assigning a float value to it, then automatic conversion will not happen. So this is a little confusing. Let us take it to an example. So suppose take it here. So I will take it here. Suppose if I write 8.5 plus 8 letters, it will be okay. So here this is what we call as automatic type conversion. Actually 8.5 is a float value and 8 is an integer value. And according to the previous rule, the operand cannot support heterogeneous operands. Sorry, operator cannot support heterogeneous operand. But here these two are heterogeneous operands. So that is what we call as type automatic type conversion. What happened is, so 8 is converted to 8.0, then these two got added. Then the result has come. Okay. So that is what we call as automatic type conversion. What is explicit type conversion is what we have done just now. Suppose if I want to add 8 and a string. For this we need to do explicit type conversion because this is an integer and this is a string. So we cannot add both unless we convert any one of them. Understood or not? So the operator plus does not support heterogeneous operands. So here I should convert uh, the first value or any one operand to the target. Target is string, of course, because string is the majority one, highest one. When compared to integer, string is more. So we need to. This is what we call as explicit type conversion. That is about explicit and implicit type conversion. Okay. So we have different functions to support the type conversions. That is int, float, string, str. All these are used to convert one type to another type. String conversions, just you have seen how to convert the integer value to string or string value to integer. You have seen. Okay. Similarly, one more example I want to give. That is how to convert a number in a string. Suppose I have given a suppose x is equal to so 1, 2, 3. This is number given in a string. So I want to add 5 to it. If I say x plus 5, that will give an error because x is a string and 5 is an integer. So that will give an error. So instead, what I should do is I should write int of x. I think you can't see it. Int of x plus 5. What happened here is the x is having string type. X is storing string type, but inside the string it's a number that we know by the naked eye, but the system does not know. So we need to tell the system that there is an integer inside the variable called x. So you need to convert the string into integer as int of x. Then you add plus 5, then it will automatically. This is the what you call as automatic explicit type conversion. Sorry. So I think I'm clear with the conversions, right? Okay, next. So how to build our own functions? We have done just now using the keyword called def. We can build our own functions. Of course, we have many built-in functions, but it's not necessary you should go for built-in function. You can also define your own functions. So here has given one more example for user-defined functions. Okay. So we'll, I'll take one more example, then you'll understand. Here you see, right. Suppose I'll take one more example. Suppose if I write a equal to 5 and b is equal to 8. Okay. So here I will write c is equal to sum of a. So here I did not define sum yet. So after that I can do it. I will write sum of x comma y return x plus. So here I will simply print c. If I execute this one, then directly
సార్ ఫంక్షన్ ముందుండాలేమో.
sorry.
సార్ ఫంక్షన్ షుడ్ బి ఫస్ట్ నో సార్.
Okay, sorry. I don't think so, but let us try. Okay, right. Thank you, Manu. So, so this is example code where I have defined a function called sum of x comma y, then return x plus y. So whatever the values of x and y are there, those will be added together and the result will be written. So please take a note of this point that we should always define the function prior to its call. Actually, I forgot. So later I have given values for a and b and I pass it to the function called sum. So initially what happens is this sum function will be called. Once the function is called, here it gets the result and result is returned. This is very important. If you return the key, use the return keyword only, this C gets the value. If I don't write this statement, C does not get a value. Suppose I'll show that. So instead of return, I simply write print. Okay. I simply write print. So let us see what happens to C. C prints none. Why C prints none? Because C does not have any value because it's not returning this thing to this function. Function call happened, that is fine. But the result of this function is not returned. So because it's not returned, C does not get any value. So whenever a variable does not have a value, it takes none. Because in Python you know that we don't define the data types. It takes the data type depending on the input. So this is the small example. We can do more and more examples. So even you can write the prime number program, you can write Fibonacci, you can write factorial. All these programs you can write using these functions. It's comparatively it's better to use functions because we have that comfort when compared to non-procedural programs where whole code is written in single block. Instead of that, if you separate each block of code be a function, it will be bit of organized manner. So that will be comfort for the programmers, and even it will be easy for you people to understand also. So this is small introduction about functions. Hope you all like it. Thank you.